Now here's the thing. These buy-sell agreements are incredibly flexible. And the reason why they're so flexible is they don't take effect until after mom and dad pass away. So remember that screen that we talked about, the three options. The second option is mom and dad can favor Dan and give less to the other kids. That's the case. You can actually give a discount in the buy-sell agreement in your will or trust. Now, the rules of doing things after death are completely different from doing things during lifetime. Today, we know this business is worth $3 million. But let's say that mom and dad, that they want to sell to their son for just $2 million. If they go ahead and complete that transaction, well, let me tell you, anytime that there's a sale amongst family members, sends up a red flag to the IRS. Because the IRS always thinks that you're going to give a better deal to people you're related to. And so, if you do that sale, if mom and dad here do that sale, they might be able to get away with it for a couple of years, but once they get audited, it's not a question of if, it's once they get audited, the IRS will pull the papers and look at the paperwork and say, huh, our records indicate that this business was really worth $3 million, but you sold it at a discount of $2 million. Oh, we know what you did. You gave a gift to your son of that amount that you discounted. So you made $1 million gift. So then the IRS is going to say, well, we want the taxes that you owe us, and it's been a few years, so we want the penalties and the interest and all those different things. It's a horrible situation. So if mom and dad sell this while they're alive, they have to do so at a fairly arm's length transaction and cross their I's and dot their T's for it. But after death, those rules don't apply. After death, we're looking at an estate distribution. So if mom and dad want to do a discount, maybe they'll say at death we'll bring in an appraiser, and Dan, you can buy it out at 75% of the appraised value, or 60% of the appraised value. That will be allowed to stand. Because at the end of the day, the IRS will look at this situation and say, well, really, he's inheriting more assets and buying less from his siblings. There's a lot of flexibility there. And so as you look at the design of this buy-sell agreement, in this case, mom and dad might set the price at $1.5 million, and then they can say, you know what? Every year at the halftime of the Rose Bowl, we'll reevaluate the value of the business, and maybe we'll update the price as the years go on. Or they might say, we'll set it at $1.5 million, and then we'll look at the land value survey that the Extension Office puts out. And each year, as that land value survey goes up, the price goes up. If it goes down, the price goes down. There's a lot of ways you can go about it. But what you can't, one of the things that is just up for grabs these days is that term fair market value. Fair market value means a willing seller and a willing buyer. And we've seen some fair market value sales, 10, 12, 14, 21, something up in Northwest Iowa. So you can set the value based on production value as an actual producing farm. That's important to think about because there's a lot of design flexibility, what you think is fair, but what you also understand will be able to be something that the farm can support as well. So there's a lot to it. Now the advantages here for the family, number one, their goal was kept. The business stays in the family. But number two, family harmony and goodwill is maintained. Once mom and dad pass away, nothing left to negotiate. And if we communicated that ahead of time, we're ahead of the game. Now this is an important aspect. Dan will have confidence in his future. I go around all over with Farm Bureau, and one of the places they sent me to last week was Oklahoma. And I remember sitting there, and after a meeting such like this, sitting around, I was eating my dinner, and a young guy came up to me and started talking to me. He's in business with his grandpa and his uncle. He has no idea what tomorrow brings. He's got a son of his own who's just 2 years old, and it was a sad story. The studies have shown that once a continuation succession plan is in place, it's good for everybody. Because that future owner now has a little comfort, knows that the business will be his someday, and has the confidence in that. And psychologically, that's great because they're happier. But they also are more productive and things like that. So it's a big thing for the family. At that point in time, the other kids were receiving immediate inheritance once mom and dad passed away as well. So for this family, it's important. They're going to set it in their will or trust to set up the price, the payment terms, so that they can find out in their particular family how they can treat their kids equitably or fairly, not necessarily equally. So that's in the family context, with passing the business from one generation to the next. But it doesn't matter what type of business that you have, or business relationship, or business structure that you form. You need to set up a buy-sell agreement. And here's why. All too often people, they enter into what we call gentleman's agreement, where they'll just say, hey, don't worry, if something ever happens to you, I will take care of your family. And you might seal that with a handshake. Let me let you in on the reality of the situation. If you have a handshake agreement, that means nothing at death. There's no evidence agreement ever existed or agreeing the terms. And so the reality of the situation is your partner will not live up to their end of the bargain unless they have the money and if they feel like it. They're not legally bound in any way to do that. A buy-sell agreement, once again, it gives you that peace of mind knowing if something happens, we're going to get, the business will continue, my spouse will be able to maintain her way of life and this, that, or the other. So once you understand the risks, doesn't matter who you are, how big or how small, once you understand the risks, you need to do the buy-sell plan to prevent that future conflict and to give that security to both your family and to your business. So there's a lot of, as we've gone through here today, there's a lot of different planning things that you need to do. But I really hope that one of the things that I impress upon you today is that estate planning is a specialty. And as we began the conversation, if you spend a little bit more to go to someone who specializes in estate planning, maybe you have to drive a little bit further, but it pays off huge dividends in the long run. And so as you start to ask people who their attorney is. If you don't have one that you know specializes, you have to find out someone that you like and you can get along with. So you don't have to go to the first attorney that someone recommends to you. You can go and sit down and take their temperature, see if this is someone that you're going to want to work with. Because at the end of the day, this relationship you form with your attorney is one that's going to last a long time. Because as we look, you're going to want to update your plans as time goes on. Every time there's a tax law change, births, deaths, divorce, any number of things could happen. You're going to need to update your plan. So that person is someone that you're going to want to be comfortable with and is specialized in doing it. And just like the medical profession, the legal profession is the same way. Medical, you've got your general practice doctors, you've got your surgeons, you've got your heart, and your podiatrists and things like that. Same thing with the legal world. The jack of all trades, they've got a lot on their plate. I've got friends that are doing that. They do a little bit of family law, a little bit of criminal law, and on the side they might draft some wills and trusts. You need to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, and so that's what we can help out with here at Farm Bureau. If you need an attorney recommendation, I think one of the most valuable sources you can ask are insurance agents. And here's the reason why. They sell life insurance, and their clients have passed away. They've been a part of that process a lot. They see the inner workings of it. Because with life insurance, you got to do this, that, or the other, work with the attorney to settle up the estate and get things finalized. And so they are in there, in the trenches, and they understand who's worth their salt and who's not. So, buy-sell agreement, doing some planning, and getting off the dead center, but finding that professional, that expert to work with along the way, and you can be here to help. So, thank you very much. I know you've got a good agenda of things coming up today, so I appreciate your time and you being able to be part of it. Thank you.